This man stands in front of a judge and tries to reduce his sentence for the crime he committed.
10 years for taking off an ankle monitor, Mr.
I
Stevens?
think it's Judge Stevens.
Judge Stevens.
The difference is your prior punishment is based on the crime, the circumstances of the crime, and any criminal history. Your criminal history is pronounced.
Right, drinking.
Well, nonetheless, those are third-degree felonies, which meant you had 2 prior felonies of misdemeanors before. But let me just say, you just shrugged that off. You really ought to, maybe I ought to bring you in here one day when we have these manslaughter cases where people who were driving while intoxicated drive into the other lane of traffic and kill people. And you ought to just sit and listen to the weeping and the wailing of relatives of those people who want to know where in the world is justice when they're minding their own business, following the rules, and someone who selfishly, all about selfishly, over imbibed in alcohol or drugs, got behind a 4,000 missile and irresponsibly used it selfishly to kill others. It seems like the DWI defendants really never get injured too seriously for whatever reason, but they pay. And every involuntary manslaughter case I have tried in almost 20 years, the juries have assessed 20 years. Every one of them, which is the maximum. Every one of them did that. What does that tell you? You're living kind of on another planet. The conventional wisdom, what people who make the decisions in important matters like jurors, they do not tolerate DWIs. And to listen to the emotion of the people who just or misunderstand, you follow the rules, you go to church, and then and generally these are young people who get killed who are just driving home from some event and following their rules. And to listen to that, it haunts you forever. But when you come and stand in front of me and try to minimize 4 felony DWI convictions, minimize the importance of that and shrug it off as though it really is not a danger when you're acting foolish and irresponsible in those statements, because you don't know what real life is. To sit in here and listen to manslaughter cases, that's real life, and it haunts you forever. But you can have your little web of environment thinking, no big deal. I'm not bothering anybody. I ought to be able to act irresponsibly and get drunk and then jump into a 4,000-pound missile and drive around town. You're one of the few people on the planet who thinks that's wise. Just so you know, but don't be flippant about the seriousness of those cases. There's a reason why the legislature said you can get up to 10 years in prison for each of those.
I understand.
And you've had 4 convictions where you were looking at up to 10 years in prison. So don't minimize its seriousness. What do you want to do?